Well, good morning. It is Saturday, July 11th, 2020. I'm doing a kind of a special hike here. Hike to a very special place. Never been here before. I'm in the Flint Creek Range in western Montana. I'm heading to the Dolus Lakes. I'm west of Deer Lodge. I don't know, maybe about a dozen miles. I've always wanted to go in here for many years. This is kind of this place holds special significance. This lake, for those of you that are into fly fishing, you may know this lake, this lower lake, was one of the favorites of the legendary Gary LaFontaine. And Gary, I never had the pleasure to meet him. He lived in Deer Lodge. Most people know him for publishing his landmark book, Caddisflies, back in, I think it's 1979, 1980, something like that. He kind of brought science into fly fishing and basically solved fishing problems by the use of science. He has influenced me. He's influenced my fly fishing and my fly tying more than anybody else. What a lot of people may not know about him is he did fish the high country. One of his publishings after Caddisflies is a book called Fly Fishing the Mountain Lakes. And if you are serious about learning how to consistently catch trout in lakes, that book is mandatory reading. So this was one of his favorite lakes. It's mentioned throughout that book. Like I said, I've always wanted to come here. Finally getting my chance. This is kind of a early mid-season hike, I guess. It's I think 2.5 miles into the lower lake. There's a series of 4 lakes. They're not well known. I think they have, or at least the lower lake has rainbow cutthroat hybrids, maybe a few west slopes, and I'm told some brown trout. So we'll see how she fishes. The last mile or two of the road in here is kind of tough. You really need high clearance. And the trail, the first part of it is, I don't know, the first almost half a mile is arguably the steepest trail section I've ever been on. It takes the wind and the breath right out of you, but it moderates, and hopefully I should be junctioning with another trail here in short order. So we'll see how things go today and how she fishes. Well, it kind of looks like we're getting close. I'm in here a little over 2.5 miles. Like I said, the first section out of the trailhead is really steep. After that, it moderates. Flat sections and short climbs. But that first steep climb really takes it out of you. There's a big group of backpackers right behind me. But it looks like I'm basically here. I think the lake's just up ahead. The trail, that's the trail. That's what I can say. Yeah, I see the lake. I see Flashes of the lake up ahead. One thing I've noticed with all the COVID-19 stuff this year, trail maintenance is light to non-existent. First part of the hike in, there was probably 10 trees down. I've seen that on one other trail last week. I just think there's either a lack of Forest Service employees out, or they're late getting started with all the pandemic stuff. You have arrived, campers over here. How about that? I think I'm going to go right over here on this point and start fishing there. Lower Dolus. So this is it. Lower Dolus Lake, also known as Dolus number 4. There's 3 other lakes up here. The trail, I think, goes on up, and I think there's another lake up here. There's just not too far. This is the lower lake. This is what I'm going to fish. We have some campers right over here. I don't see anybody in the camp, so my guess is they're up at one of the other lakes. And of course, there's a large party of backpackers behind me. So what I'm going to do, I have my waders with me. I may or may not need them, but what I'd like to do is fish off these shelves a little bit. Don't see any fish rising, which is kind of curious, but that probably doesn't mean anything. It's about 1:20 in the afternoon. Beautiful lake. Fishing is terrible. There's fish in here. You can see them rising out in the center of the lake, but I have not seen a fish caught. There's several people here, a couple different parties here, and I've seen a lot of people fishing, but I have not seen a fish caught. There's a lot of shelves and stuff, and they're not prowling those drop-offs in the shorelines like I'm used to seeing. So I don't know. There's calabatus. I see there's calabatus duns about, and a few caddis. Like I say, there's fish out in the water, out in the middle of the lake, but they're just not prowling the shores. I started off with my intermediate line and my trademark 3 wet flies, and never even had a bite. I switched over to a floating line and a strike indicator with 3 chironomids is what I've been using, fishing these flats and off these shelves. Again, nothing. Beautiful lake. Boy, this fishing is terrible. I've heard this lake fish is very good. I've heard it's actually excellent. So maybe I've hit it wrong. So I think what I'm going to do here after I eat is I'm probably going to go over to the, well, I guess it'd be the west or northwest side of the lake. That's kind of the windward side, and I'm going to see if things are any better over there. So what we have here would be called the last gasp. or last cast, whatever you prefer. It's a little after 3 in the afternoon, probably about 3:15. I came over here, I'm on the other side of the lake, and I actually had 3 hits on my chronicled, 3 grabs, and I missed all 3 of them. But I thought what I would do before I leave is try an ant. This is normally one of my go-to patterns on high mountain lakes. We'll see how this does. It's been a slow day up here. I really wished it would fish better. So I'm on the hike out. Kind of a steep descent here. Right ahead of me in this canyon down in here is Rock Creek Lake. This trail has some steep sections too. I don't know if you can really see it, but and then over there in the distance is the Clark Fork Valley and Deer Lodge. So kind of see here what I've got in front of me. It kind of undulates down. There's a pretty good little descent. This trail has stages of, it'll obviously the first part coming out of the trailhead is pretty steep, and then after that you have short sections that are pretty steep. Anyway, let me see if I can. I don't know what you can see there, but well, it's 5:15, 5:20 on Saturday. I'm on the hike out, probably a little over halfway. I'm on the nice flat section before we start the steep drop to the trailhead. Beautiful lake. Fishing was terrible. There's two big parties there. One of them included a 9-year-old male boxer. It looks like mine. He made it in there just fine. I wanted to get a picture of him. But anyway, fishing was terrible. I started off with an intermediate line and my 3 flies and 3 wets, and didn't even get a strike. I switched over to a floating line and 3 chronicleds, and when I didn't get a strike for hours. Once I moved over to the windward side of the lake, I got 3 grabs and missed every one of them. I finally decided to try an ant, and nothing. Saw 1 fish caught all day, talking to everybody, pretty slow, which is interesting because this lake has a reputation for excellent fishing, so maybe I just caught it wrong. So pretty lake, very pretty though, very pretty. So onward and out.